I've been keeping journals since I was 14 years old. I would always carry this treasure chest full of the journals I'd been keeping, and they were filling up that treasure chest. And I would take it with me to any place that we went for an extended amount of time, put it over there to the right of my proverbial desk and go, have it there, because if you get the itch and you get some time, I dare you to go on that treasure chest and see what's in there. Didn't have the courage really to open it up. Didn't want to make the time to go in there because I was intimidated of looking back. I'm not one for really liking to look back over my shoulder. I'm somebody who likes to, I'm still someone who rather enjoys making the sandwich more than eating it. I like making my movies more than I even like watching them. I like doing things, moving on, and heading forward. Consciously, I didn't think about 50 as a number of a time to be retrospective, but I had some time on my hands, and I had read an article in the New York Times that a young man had written, and I liked the article. I go, oh, this guy gets me. And I asked him to come on and be a ghostwriter for a book. We met one time. Well, the New York Times pulled him off because evidently they weren't allowing any of the writers to work with celebrities. And just as he got pulled off, and I was in the room, my office with Camilla, my wife, and she said, you know what this means? And I went, yeah, I do know what it means, which is I need to go off and write it myself. So she said, I packed up all the journals. She said, don't come back until you got something. And I headed off with 15 gallons of water, and I went away to the desert. The first 12 days were sort of no electricity, me with my journals, no cell reception, nothing like that. I wanted to be forced with nothing but my past. I feared being embarrassed. I feared feeling ashamed. What I noticed was that a lot of things I thought I'd be embarrassed about, I giggled at. A lot of things I thought I'd be ashamed about, I had already forgiven myself for, or now forgave myself for. What I realized is that if I wasn't the arrogant little SOB at that time, I may not have had the confidence to put myself in a situation to get absolutely humiliated and humbled. The first 12 days were like a purge. I mean, I came back and the whole family like saw me. I mean, I came back shedding tears. I had just sort of gone back and looked at 50 years of my life and had them down, and all of a sudden was crying there tears of joy. It was a very earth shaking. My floor was moved in a good way. I came back from that feeling like I had something that was personal, that might be worthy of being between two hardback covers. I was hesitant about the word memoir. I don't have a great relationship with the word memoir. The word memoir always seems like, good night, everybody. I'm heading off into the twilight of my career, the sun's setting. And then I had that thing that is so obvious when you say it, but it didn't feel obvious to me at the time, which was the more personal I got, the more I started to notice that it was probably more relatable. Now, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to buy this book, even if the words are crap on the page, because of who you are. So I remember saying to myself, and one of the first things I wrote down, I was like, the words on the page need to be worthy of being put on the page if they were signed by anonymous at a time of becoming famous. You go through, at least I did, and still do at times, go through, wait a minute, what's mine? What am I getting based off of my worth as the man I am, as the person I am? How many of those I love yous are meant, or how many of them were just following because I just had a big box office hit? And wait a minute, the person that I've had dinner with their kids and spent Christmases with, who have shared I love yous and hugs, then now I have two movies that didn't do well and that person won't return my call. Wait a minute, what all matters? What do I want to do? What are we doing here? It becomes challenging. That's when you go, who's wagging who? I've never wanted my fame to wag me. I mean, like, no, I understand I got famous because of who, to whatever extent, because of who I am. Yeah, I had 8 years there where my mom and I needed a mother. And what on the other end of the phone was a fan of my fame, someone who wanted my fame more than I did. And I remember telling her things like, boy, you keep wanting to come out here and see me, but what if I was an accountant in Chicago? Would you want to come see me as much? All through that time, she didn't love me less. She's loved me in a new, different way, as well as being her son. We both adapt.
Yeah.
I got through enough time where I felt stable enough in my career that I was like, her loose lips aren't going to sink my ship. And as soon as I said, you go, Mom, here's the mic, hit that red carpet line, you can talk to anybody, you tell, no filter, sell whatever stories you want. 99% of the time, it's awesome. And I'm like, you know what? Let her enjoy it. I wasn't going to change her. So because I couldn't change her, it's kind of like the sabbatical I took from the rom-coms. I wasn't going to change her, so I just had to kind of block her out for a certain amount of time that ended up being 8 years. I never questioned her love for me, though. I knew we were going to be fine. I knew we weren't going to like head to our deathbeds going on a bad note. I knew we were going to come out the other side. It was just a matter of when. I'd just become famous, too. I mean, my world was like all of a sudden all the options were mine. And 2 days before, none of those options were there. And now it was a world of yes. And I'm going, I only got 24 hours in a day and I would do any of this work. And you're now telling me I can do it all?
Yeah.
I mean, you're asking me to be discerning right now?
Part of growing up is you have to get by being impressed with whatever you're doing. You've got to be respectful of it, but you have to get past being impressed. For me as an actor, I'd be really involved with my career and ask myself those questions. What is it I want to do? I've never been a hasty one to go and get nervous about like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I was taught and understood very early in this business, lean horse, long ride. Stay in the game and it'll find you or you'll find it if you want to calibrate and make a change. Just keep that innocent curiosity of taking your notes and just being curious about this whole process, because a lot of people belong to do it. They don't enjoy the process. It becomes a clock-in job. They come to work, do it with a paycheck knowledge, but just keep that. And I have tried to maintain that, to enjoy the experience.
Anytime you get serious, you go, no, think like my 8-year-old. Think like an 8-year-old. You know what I mean? Play, there's a character here, but who's delusionally optimistic, but boy, how much you can get done actually by being delusionally optimistic, you know? That's the fun for me. I like saying, never be eccentric for eccentricity's sake. I'm not looking for something odd to do or extreme to do. If it comes from the man I'm playing, then great. And then that's the fun of what I get to do.
The dark characters, the baddie, usually has so much more identity than the white knight, than the hero. The dark characters are also, they're always usually outsiders. And the consequence is that if I'm really going to portray one of those well, that part of myself, I'm putting myself on an island. And and that excites me. I want to feel like I don't have to pander to manners or graces. I'm living by different rules. Rustin Cole was a guy who preferred his own company to anyone else's, and that solitude. That was a vacation for me.
I guess I have an affection for that. I like these sort of outcast who's got their a certain on one certain dream, one certain coordinate where they're heading. Damn to be the world, damn be anybody else.
I think there's a value, if you don't enjoy your own company, to go, oh, that's why I need to spend more time with myself then, so we can work it out, because I'm the one person that I can't get rid of, so let's work this stuff out. We have greater gratifications, we have greater joy, we have greater gifts. The more selfish we are, the more individualistic. Now, I know that can go out of hand, and I don't mean when it's at the expense, I don't mean selfish at the expense of excluding a lot of people or making contradictions. Sometimes we don't know what we're looking for, but we go find it. I think there's a value about put yourself in a place so you can hear it. Put yourself in a place so you can receive it. And in writing my book, I noticed ways that I got what I wanted in life. Ways I got what I was seeking. And that's when all of a sudden, oh, an answer comes, and I'm light. And I've shed certain guilt, and I'm present much, and I'm not looking around the bend to see what's coming. I'm not looking over my shoulder to judge where I've been. There have been many things where I've engineered the success, that I have set the goal, that I said where I wanted to go and went to it and attained it. For people that say, oh, it's all fake, then I always I half jokingly say, okay, then run all the red lights, see what happens. I mean, I believe that the prime mover or God, whatever, our life, that once our hands on the wheel, saying we are self-determining creatures.